It really comes down to whether the lack of cleaning creates unsanitary conditions.
Are landlords required to clean, either mop or sweep, apartment building hallways on a regular basis? So this is the common areas. And for some context, the tenant says, I live in a brownstone with 13 apartments and the management company just changed. The previous company used to mop every week and now it's happening once a month, which doesn't seem adequate for a high traffic building. Sam, what are a landlord's obligations when it comes to the common areas of a building?
They have to be kept clean and sanitary. And again, let's distinguish between stabilization and not. Rent stabilization has a concept called required services. Essentially, it means that any service that you're being provided when you move into a rent stabilized apartment must be continued. It could be a doorman, it could be a laundry room, it could be a storage area, or it could be the frequency of which the common areas are cleaned. It used to be once a week, and this tenant is stabilized, and now it's once a month, coupled with the fact that the floors are dirtier. The tenant can file a reduction of services complaint at the DHCR, Division of Housing and Community Renewal, and they will send out an inspector. And if they find that there is a reduction of services, they will roll the tenant's rent back to what it was being paid in the prior lease, and it will be frozen there until the problem is rectified. And that's the kind of thing, if there are stabilized tenants in the building, it's much better to band together and get a building-wide reduction of services because it'll have a greater economic impact on the landlord. It means they can't even raise the rent if a tenant moves out. There's no increases at all. That's what we recommend. In a non-rent stabilized situation, it really comes down to whether the lack of cleaning creates unsanitary conditions. If it does, then it's a borderline warranty of habitability issue. But again, everything I said before about retaliation and renewal leases would apply. You got to be careful about the battles that you pick as a non-regulated tenant, because landlords might retaliate by saying, this person's is too much of a pain in the and I don't want them there anymore.
And is there any sort of practical advice then about that? I mean, do you just advise, picking your battles?
Having the floors clean is important, but to me, it's not the most important. It wouldn't be the most important issue for me. I understand, I'm not there. I don't know how dirty the floors are, I just don't know whether that would be the battle I would pick if I were a market rate tenant.
Sure. And would it be sensible to document the condition? I mean,
always. Whenever we're going to be talking about conditions, it's important that communications be put in writing, that you not rely on, calling the landlord and verbally complaining. Emails are fine. It doesn't have to be a formal certified letter. And photographing is important so that you have proof of the condition.